again, host DJ of DJs BrewTube, back at you with yet another beer review. What do we got on tap tonight? Well, on tap, actually on bottle, not on tap, because I don't have a kegerator or a keg, but maybe one day. Tonight we have, let's see, Meinklang Ancient Grains Ale. Meinklang Ancient Grains Ale, what is it? It's a ale that's, they're calling it a German Pilsner, okay? But it's an ale that's made with ancient grains. I don't think it's gluten-free, but it's made with a grain called, let's see, Emmer and Einkorn wheat. And those grains are two of the very first grains that humans domesticated and cultivated. And as you know, when we started domesticating and cultivating grains, why did we do that? The reason that was done was not to eat, because we were hunter-gatherers before that. The reason it was done was to make beer. So that was one of the first grains, I'm sure, besides barley, that was found. Hey, I can ferment this, I can germinate it, I can malt it, I can make sugars out of it, ferment this with some yeast, and make a fermentable product, also known as beer, brew it, whatever you want to call it. Okay? So, in future videos, we're going to have some of these guys here. We've already reviewed our Einheiser-Busch Doppelbock. I'm going to review that separate. That was an epic beer night. That's just one of my favorites. We got some Hammerhead IPA here from a local-ish brewery that we're using in the mug tonight, Beach Brewing. I also did a tour of that one, so I'll show you that tour video one day. And then from our buddies at Ducal, local brewery here in Baltimore, this is their Misery wheat wine. Awesome, hoppy wheat wine kind of. Anyways, not to digress too far. We're on 4.7% ABV here, and IBUs on this one is pretty low. It's 25. Now, like I said, they say this is a German Pilsner, but really, this is more of a combination between a wheat beer and a Pilsner. If you look in the bottom of the bottle, you can't see it here, there's a lot of wheat sediment in this, and it's very easily disturbed, and I think that's because of the types of grains they're using, and they use a large quantity of grains. Even though they're using so much grains, the alcohol level is not super high, as you know a lot of German and Austrian beers like to do. So the brewery on this one is the Flowery, and they're in Strasbourg, Austria. So let's get this in a bottle, see what we got for some aroma, taste, mouthfeel, and overall opinion. Let's get it up. Got our friendly neighborhood bottle opener, our one popper. Let's see what we got here. Nice. Pour this right down the side. I don't have a big Pilsner glass, so I don't want to get too much of a head on it. But let's see what we got. There we go. Got that wheat beer type head growing on it. Look at that, guys. Right out of the gate, 3 fingers strong. Lots of active carbonation going on the surface. Let's see. I like my beers cloudy. I like to serve the wheat in the bottom and have it in there. Not everyone does. You don't have to do it that way. Look at that cloudy liquid coming out. Alright, get it all out. So, we got here, once we finish off, we got a 2-finger rocky head, not bright soapy white, but kind of off-white, and as you can see here on the beer, that's plenty cloudy. Good wheat beer, but it's darker than a lot of wheat beers that you've had. We're more like a cloudy, dark honey amber color on this one. I don't know if you can see it super on camera, but that's what we got. Let's see what kind of smell, smell we get on this. Bready, yeasty, sweet malt. There's a little bit of hop smell in the background. It's got a lot of that classic Pilsner smell and that sort of classic darker Pilsner color with some cloud in it from those grains, but pretty nice. And this is 100% organic beer too, by the way, guys. They only use fresh spring water, hop, malt, spelt, and those ancient grains that we were talking about before. So, man, I'm ready for some of this one. Let's see what it tastes like. Wow, that's a really refreshing beer. You got those spicy yeast and wheat characteristics like you get from a Hefeweizen, but you got that crisp, dry finish of a Pilsner. But it doesn't taste like a cheap Bud Miller Coors, mega produced beer. It's got a lot of crispness to it. This is in my opinion, a real quality like summer session beer. Kind of reminds me of Joe's Pilsner from Avery maybe a little bit, but it's got more complexity to it because it's got that wheat and that grain in there. And man, it goes down really easy. Let me see here. Yeah, that's really nice. Super smooth, real easy drinking. Not the most complex flavors, but like I said, it's a hybrid taste. Pilsner meets Hefeweizen, you know, all at the same time. So let's see what Rate Beer and those guys thought about. Our friends at Rate Beer give this a 22. I don't know what the hell they're talking about. That's way better than 22, but it seems like when they rate something low, they rate it on the down low. Beer Advocate, get this guys, gives it an 80. Okay? Beer Advocate, who's the stingiest dudes on the planet, as you know, with points, they're giving this an 80. I'm along that lines. I'm going to give this a B myself, B minus. Okay? It's not the most awesome beer, but what else is in this style that's using ancient grains? Name it. Guess what? You can't, because there's nothing else like that. Hell, they even grow this stuff on their own farm. So give this one a try, guys. It's really interesting. Maybe this is something like our ancestors were drinking, you know, back in the day. But overall, real solid session beer, 4.7 alcohol, and super crisp and refreshing, especially if you're out there doing some lawn work or something. So, anyways, guys, remember, rate, comment, subscribe. Though this time I'm not drinking locally, I'm thinking globally. So remember, think globally. Think locally? No. Think globally, drink locally, support your local craft brewers and that craft beer movement, and support some of these foreign craft brewers too, because this isn't your average German, you know, Weizen or whatever. So we'll see you on the next DJs BrewTube. Remember, rate, comment, subscribe, talk to me, I'll talk back at you. Peace out, guys.